Well, Sean, I can tell you that Thorncliffe Park Public School behind me right now was supposed to be reopening again today after being shut down a couple of weeks ago due to a COVID outbreak. Instead, Toronto Public Health chose to keep the doors closed, along with a number of other schools, at least until the new year. One by one, the COVID case counts grow, and with that, so too do the number of classes and schools shutting down early for the holiday season.
But as I have said before, while we support schools open, it isn't at any cost.
The Toronto District School Board now has 9 closures in total after it was decided that 6 more would need to be added to the list over the weekend. It was decided that each will remain closed through the holiday break until January 4th, so that Toronto Public Health can investigate each case.
The lines of communication between the TDSB and Toronto Public Health will remain open for the entire holiday. So Toronto Public Health can notify the TDSB if there are specific cases that would require some sort of self-isolation for an individual class or group of classes.
13 Toronto schools in all have shut their doors, with an average of 5 COVID cases in each of the outbreaks. And yet, the city's medical officer of health says it's important to keep schools open if they're able to safely.
We know that it is much easier for the children to engage with the material and to really get the benefit of the learning and the academic environment by actually being in school in person. But as well, there are social and developmental benefits associated with being in school. There are mental health benefits in being able to connect with other people in person. And for a number of children in our community and throughout the city, it is also the venue at which by which they get access to a variety of services.
We always want to try to keep schools open where we can do so safely. But in the cases of these specific schools, on the advice of Toronto Public Health, they felt that it was necessary to close these schools to students and staff, so we did so and acted accordingly.
With the holidays approaching, concerns have been raised about cases rising with gatherings, leaving more children at risk before returning in the new year. The idea of delaying the reopening of schools has been raised, but it's a provincial decision, one that the city says is being discussed.
There isn't a decision that's landed yet.
In total, there are 39 schools in Toronto alone that have active outbreaks at this point. That means there are at least 2 cases at each of those locations. So you can expect, if those numbers continue to climb, more closures to come, despite the fact that Dr. Davila wants to keep the schools open.